In today's video, participants of the Dyke March share their anger.
Good.
Shake some ass, spread the love.
Spread the love for sure.
Is there a difference between a man and a woman?
There is no need for that difference to exist, scientifically and logically.
Should we all be using gender-neutral language?
I identify as non-binary, which means that I'm neither male nor female.
Stay tuned.
The assumption that women are naturally better caregivers is part of
And we don't
patriarchy.
I think they definitely do need me. I'm on my way.
So why are you here today?
To turn up and
Turn
look
up,
good.
shake some ass, spread the love.
Spread the love for sure.
All right, a serious question now. What do you think is the largest issue that the LGBT community is facing today?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Aw, she seems a bit confused. Well, thankfully there's an official website for the Dyke March which says that the San Francisco Dyke March is for dykes. Dykes gather at the Dyke March to celebrate our love and passion for women and for all dykes. We celebrate our queerness in all of its manifestations. We understand dyke identity to include those of us who are questioning and challenging gender constructs and the social definitions of women. Trans dyke, MTF, trans feminine, trans masculine, genderqueer and gender fluid dykes. We also welcome all women who want to support dykes to march with us. Celebrate dyke diversity.
So why are you here today?
To celebrate dyke diversity?
Cause I'm queer as and I'm trying to have a good time. That's kinda it.
So you said that a large part of the problem was Donald Trump. What is something that Donald Trump has said or done that has marginalized or oppressed this community?
He just tries to knock everyone out. If they're not a white man, he's like, I hate everyone else.
Well, that's just mean. What if Donald Trump identifies as a gender fluid dyke? Shouldn't we welcome him?
I'm wondering, what do you guys think is the biggest issue to the LGBT community today?
Homophobia? Discrimination in the workplace? Equal access to insurance and marriage?
Cops.
Cops?
Yeah. Police violence, police brutality, and also just in general brutality against trans black women.
Yeah, mainly that.
So do you have any opinions on our president and how he's treating the issue?
I'm not into the politics.
I think I'm developing some sort of sixth sense. It's almost as if just by looking at how this girl was presenting herself in front of the camera, I knew that she wasn't the type of person to be into politics. But, yeah, let's all value her opinion.
But Donald Trump.
How very ladylike.
He should probably die. Yeah.
You should probably die.
Yeah.
And in general, lower income queer individuals of color.
Did you say lower income queer individuals?
Of color, yeah.
Oh, of color. Okay.
Why is everyone using the word queer now? It seems that it's the in-trendy word to use. However, if you do look on the Dyke March website, it does say dyke is not just a sexual orientation, it's a political identity. It stands for community, it stands for solidarity, it stands for radical fight, it stands for trans, black, brown, queer, bisexual, lesbian, disabled, chronically ill, fat, femme, butch, indigenous, gender expansive love. It does not stand by erasure, by displacement, by appropriation, by hate.
What's like the least favorite thing that Donald Trump has done to harm the LGBT movement?
Just announced like to the whole country about, I don't know, how it's not real or trying to get gay marriages banned, all that. Yeah.
Educated bitch. I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you a damn thing because I don't watch the
Donald Trump though.
Educated? Well, I wouldn't go as far as to say that. I'm just so sad that the public school system has failed her so miserably.
What are your opinions on Donald Trump while I'm at it?
I hate that guy. I really want him out of office. Clearly queer women. Yeah, he should not be in office.
By queer, and given that this is the Dyke March, I'm guessing that she's referring to Trump's stance on LGBT issues. So here's a very brief rundown. Trump stated his personal belief that marriage is between a man and a woman, and in an interview in 2015 he said that his personal beliefs were irrelevant and that he was fine with the Supreme Court's decision to guarantee the right to same-sex marriage nationwide. Trump openly criticised North Carolina's North Carolina House Bill 2 regarding individuals only being able to use restrooms and changing facilities that correspond to the sex on their birth certificate, saying, "North Carolina did something that was very strong and they're paying a big price. You leave it the way it is. There have been very few complaints the way it is." Trump's 2020 budget request included $300 million in new funds for HIV programs within the United States. And finally, when asked would Americans vote for a gay man to be president, Trump answered that he would not count himself among Americans who would refuse to vote for someone simply because of their sexual orientation. "I would not be in that group." It doesn't sound that bad, does it?
I've heard some people say before that you can't actually be racist towards white people. What do you all think about that line of thought?
You'd think if you were a reasonable person that you would answer, well, racism is discrimination and hate based on race. So, if you're white, that's a race. If you're black, that's a race, etc., etc. Directing hate towards any group based on their race is a form of racism. I wonder what she's going to say.
I completely agree with that because white people have never had, like, you can definitely be prejudiced against white people, but you can never be racist against white people because white people have never experienced, like, truly, like, in history, you cannot pick out a specific point where white people have ever been truly, like, worked, like, no...
Well, to be frank, I am open to new experiences.
Can you name anything in specific that you think that is harmful or dangerous to the LGBT community that Donald Trump or Mike Pence has said or come out with?
Well, Donald Trump's he said a lot of things that were like clearly not in support of LGBT people.
Yes, for example?
Which one makes you most mad?
They all make me mad.
Aware of the conversation going on in Washington State right now around kind of gender identity, gender expression issues, and the ability to access facilities on those grounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, there's gender neutral bathrooms in like all the dorms and stuff like that.
I think that gender is fluid, so if you want to use a bathroom because that's a place and that's a space where you feel comfortable and safe in doing so, then I think that that's completely fine.
There are only two genders, men and women. Those who are transgender, obviously, do not associate with the sex that they were assigned at birth. They suffer from gender dysphoria, and they transition from one gender to the other gender, male to female or female to male. The term gender fluid is just a trendy label that people use to stand out and show how woke they are.
I think that if whoever you think you are, if you're male or female, then that's the bathroom you should go into.
I think if it doesn't really negatively affect anybody, then I think anyone should be able to choose what gender they choose to identify as.
The problem is that in some cases there does seem to be a negative impact. People feel uncomfortable when someone of the opposite sex walks into the restroom, which they shouldn't be in.
People, no matter what their gender identification is, they should be allowed to use whatever restrooms they feel like they identify with.
Well, in that case, I'm only going to go into girls' toilets now, because it's just cleaner, it smells nice, everything's tidy, you know?
Is there a difference in your mind between men and women?
No, yes. I mean...
I'm genuinely puzzled how it took her 5 hours to answer that question, honestly.
Possibly. In general, yes. But I don't know why I think that.
I don't know why you think that either. Perhaps because men have a penis and women have vaginas? Maybe? I don't know.
Socially, currently, yes, there is. There is no need for that difference to exist, scientifically and logically.
Now, I can get behind the idea that there is a social difference between a man and a woman. Yes, of course. But saying that there's no need for that difference to exist scientifically?
If you think that you're a male, if you think that you're a female, that matters more than the biological difference.
There's not much difference besides what society forces onto people.
And how do you know the difference between men and women?
By what people think they are. So you can't like judge someone just on like their looks.
Well, that's great news, young lady. If I ever meet you in the streets, I will call you Brian and address you with male pronouns.
I don't think there's any one way to really distinguish between a man or a woman, and I don't think it's necessary.
Well, usually if there are big dangly bits between their legs, it's a big clue.
It's not always consistent. It has a high probability, like 98% of the time I can get it right. There is some ambiguity.
I think, yeah, there are ways to tell, but then again, you can always be wrong.
What would you say I am?
Just judging off of your looks, I would say that you're a male.
She literally just said that you shouldn't judge. She just said that.
I would probably assume a man, but then you never know.
A male.
Why would you say that?
Based on how I look at you.
Do you think that's a problem?
Yeah, probably.
Do you think the difference between men and women matters for any reason?
No, not really.
I think most sociologists agree that the concept of gender is more of a societal construct.
Sociologists maybe, but scientists and everyone else, not so much.
I do think it matters somewhat, yeah.
To me, no. I don't feel as if it matters to me because at the end of the day, the person is just a person.
No, I don't think it should matter.
Then is there a reason to have those labels, male or female?
I don't think so. I think that it's, again, a social construct of this binary that we're given at birth.
A social construct of a binary that we are given at birth. Now, if you recall, in a previous video, we saw that Dakota, the gender terrorist, said that when doctors assign a gender to a baby after it's born, it's an act of violence.
There is kind of a difference, but at the same time, if someone wants to identify as one or both or as nothing, I also find that completely okay. And
Emma, hi. You're neither male nor female, right?
That's true. I identify as non-binary, which
Right.
means I'm neither male nor female, and correspondent to that, I use the they, them pronoun.
And you said gender.
You can identify however you like, but if I ever see you at a party or in the streets, not that I would probably see you at a party because you don't look like you would be much fun at parties, I will look at you and go, that is a female, that's a girl in front of me. It's painfully obvious.
And what's certainly true is that there is a huge variance of gender presentation and gender identity within humankind. There isn't simply
Humankind,
men
you said,
and
yeah.
women. Exactly, humankind in
see,
space of
let's start-
mankind.
you wouldn't say mankind. That should be,
I wouldn't, just because humankind is a more accurate descriptor,
Right.
in the same way that me using they, them is a more accurate descriptor of my identity than using he or she.
We're all male and female. We've always, yes, of course, we're all male and female. There are
What about
a tiny,
transgender people?
There are a tiny minority of people who have intersex conditions, and there are a tiny minority of people who have some condition where they may have a female brain and a male body. Apart from this, we are all male and female, and the attempt to suggest that there is a third gender is, as far as I'm concerned, it's an ideological and a political project. It doesn't exist.
And just by looking at the expression on her face, this is a perfect example of how the truth can be so inconvenient for these social justice warriors. You can see how triggered she is already when she's being told that there is no such thing as third gender. And to be honest, I'm also very triggered looking at those eyebrows, which are horrific.
The words male and female have existed throughout history, throughout the world. They refer, men are people who have penises, women are people who have vaginas. It's as simple as that. I would absolutely refuse to refer to this woman here, who's clearly a woman, as a they, because for me that would be imposing an ideological,
How is she clearly a
political
woman?
system. Because she is. If everybody watching this programme can see that she is a woman. And
But that's
that
your-
is
I think that's
imposing.
your problem. I think
That
that's actually
is
your
imposing.
problem.
And
But you're imposing,
No,
actually.
you
Yes.
are asking me to engage in an ideological, political system which I disagree with.
Truth is, language is organic. It reflects the society that it comes out of, and you can impose bits of it, but ultimately, is they going to stick as a personal pronoun for one person? I kind of doubt it, because actually, that's not how most people see the world.
And that is the truth. No matter how hard you push your agenda saying I'm non-binary and I go by they them pronouns, people are still going to look at you in the streets and say that's a girl or that's a boy, and they will inevitably misgender you. Is it their fault that you're offended? Not really.
We mustn't lose sight of the fact that language does refer to a reality.